What is up, members of the league? This is your commish on a beautiful semi-rainy Tuesday morning. I have to go golfing here shortly, so thought I would try to get in a little weekly review here. I don't even remember Brian's picks exactly, but I remember what I picked because I selected them on my Yahoo page. I think I won all of them, but I'll have to confirm. But either way, not an extremely exciting week. This is more the week of injuries, a lot of big injuries. Eric touched on this in the other Dynasty review, but some big players, some big names, some big problems that people are going to have. I just have posted something for Mike Samuels, actually. His team is just getting decimated right now by injuries. As I'm looking at Mike's team, let me go over to it here really quick. You know, Brandon Marshall has played like he's played like a dumpster fire. He played like absolute crap. Corey Coleman now has a broken hand. Devin Funchess, he's paying $20 for nothing. Braxton Miller, $13 for nothing as well. Jamison Crowder's done nothing. Darren McFadden's not even playing. He's not even active most of the time. Giovanni, I don't know. I don't know. Mike, do whatever you got to do. But anyways, people have started to carve out their roles. The injuries have happened, like I said. The season's becoming one that's going to be for the ages in many ways. But let's get to our little recap here. First off, we'll touch on probably one of the more disappointing games of the week overall. The Baltimore Vipers and the Detroit Hitmen. Both teams actually scored under 100 points. Again, looking back at Mike's team, I see an out for Corey Coleman. Jordan Howard left in a sling, questionable. Jimmy Graham, he got hurt. He had one reception for 1 yard. Well, that was impressive. He's questionable for the next week because of an ankle injury. So a lot of problems happened in the middle of the game for Mike. Didn't help his overall total. Of course, on the other side, Jordy Nelson went out, I think it was about the first series of the game for Eric. He did not need him. He did not need him for a couple reasons. One, Dak Prescott put up just above his average with 20 points with a couple touchdowns passing. Carlos Hyde, great overall start to his season the first 2 weeks. Sell high, Eric, if you're going to sell him at all, because it's just going to go down from here. 124 rushing yards, 3 receptions, 19 yards as well through the air. Those two were the big playmakers for him. Randall Cobb did have a shoulder injury, a little scare, but not until he put up 13 points. Mike, outside of Drew Brees, really didn't have a lot going for him, which again is why I said maybe this is a trade you guys should do. Who knows? I don't know. One thing that they both did well was not. Excuse me, I take this back. One thing they did well was to start the correct people for the most part. I wouldn't start Tyler Lockett typically over some of the people that Eric started, but what could you do? He did play the right matchups. Same with, the Cleveland tight end. He ended up with more points than Eifert, but I don't blame him for anything they did. Heck, Mike even had Brandon Marshall on the bench, which was a good move. It still didn't matter. So, anyways, the Baltimore Vipers now go to 1-1, 9th place overall, while the Detroit Hitmen fall to 0-2. One of 3 0-2 teams in the league. On top of that, he's scored less than 200 points on the season, second lowest total overall to the Phoenix Gladiators, who I will get to now. Phoenix Gladiators were over double-upped by Derek Mostrom's team. Andy, Derek doubled you up. Let's just sit. Let's just sit in for 1 second. I didn't think I'd be able to say that out loud ever. So Derek just ran it hard on Andy. Derek's team exploded. Crabtree had his 3 touchdowns. Montgomery, who I picked as my DFS player of the week, won me some money. 29 points, 75 receiving yards, 6 receptions, a touchdown, decent job running the ball. C.J. Anderson, over 100 yards rushing, and a receiving touchdown, and a rushing touchdown. Leonard Fournette continues to do a great job. Emmanuel Sanders, 2 more touchdowns. So Derek's team maybe is better than what we all planned. I don't know. I'm not very happy about it. I beat him, though, so I'm okay. Andy's team, nothing good to talk about. His best player was Eric Ebron, 15.2 points. Kendall Wright, 13.9. Tyrod Taylor, 10.5. Nobody else made it into double digits for him besides the people on his bench, Chris Thompson, Deshaun Watson. So Derek started all the correct players. Andy did not. Andy doesn't really care about this season. I think Derek's trying to. Big win for Derek overall in the blowout of the week that it turned out to be. My next game, I have interdivision battle between the Midland Mastodons and the Kepler Supermoons. Jason put up a very, very weak performance overall. Doug came to play, had a little bounce back week because Tom Brady had a bounce back week with nearly 37 points. Mike Evans, great way to start off the season with over 22. Kelsey and Jeffrey, 24 and 22 respectively. He had some big players play strong. If I'm Doug, I'm getting a little concerned about my running back situation. Ezekiel Elliott put up maybe his worst game of the season, although I guess best case scenario for him. It sounds like he is going to continue to play this year. McCaffrey, granted, I watched this play. Cam Newton, wide open to McCaffrey from about the 2 or 4 yard line, overshot him. Like, I don't even know how many yards we overset. So he should have had a touchdown, but another subpar performance for McCaffrey. David Johnson, obviously headed to the IR. Who else? Oh, Derrick Henry. Now, Derrick Henry, forced back and forth with DeMarco's injury. Derrick Henry's on Doug's bench. I don't know. I don't know what I do if I'm Doug here in the future weeks. Obviously, you're starting Zeke, but then you have a rotation of McCaffrey and Derrick Henry. I don't know. Maybe Doug's in the market for a running back. But anyways, back to the game. Jason had a couple really nice performances. Aaron Rodgers with over 22. Freeman, 24 points. Keenan Allen, still healthy with 19. Realistically, Jason did start pretty much all the right people. He could have started Burkhead, would have gotten a few more points, but no matter what he did, this was Doug's week. Doug moves to 2-0, second overall. Jason drops to 8th place overall with a 1-1 record. Our next game here, we had the Grand Rapids Brewers against the Boston Badgers. Sydney actually put up a little bit of a fight in this one, but was not able to do it. Brewers won by 13 points, in large part to Melvin Gordon again with over 20 and Derek Carr with over 27 points. He actually had everybody in double figures besides Terrell Pryor Sr., Sammy Watkins, and Delvin Cook. So a nice overall game for him. He does have Carson on his bench. Maybe he starts integrating him into the game plan next week. For Sydney, who actually put up a decent total here, Jason Witten, tight end of the week, nearly 26 points. Also had James White in double figures, Marquise Lee in double figures, James Winston, Kenny Stills, his kicker, Gano, into double figures as well. But some disappointing performances by his wide receivers, and Andre Ellington held him back. He could have definitely started a plethora of other people, which would have made a difference in this game. So could partially be bad management on Sydney's behalf. So Sydney drops to 0-2, one of the teams that have not won a game yet, 10th place. Well, Brian takes over the number 1 seed currently at 2-0. He does have the most points in the league. Nope, second most points in the league to Derek thus far. And in my next game, I have myself against the Calgary Cockfighters. This one was an absolute beast mode of a performance by me. I had to come back. I had to do something strong after the way I looked last week, and I did it. I had 4 players over 20 points. I had another 3 over 17 on top of that. In fact, Amari Cooper with 7.3 was one of my lowest totals, and I had DeMarco Murray with only 3.8 as he was limited throughout the game. But otherwise, I was very happy overall with my team's performance. I had Cohen on the bench with double figures. I had Ingram on the bench with double figures. Fleener on the bench with double figures. Hearns on the bench with over 20. Sanu on the bench with double figures. I'm so deep. That's what she said. So I'm very happy about my performance. Jared, however, is not. I will be ordering my wings, Jared, next time I see you at Buffalo Wild Wings. Very excited. Spicy garlic and Caribbean jerk. Trevor Siemian tried to help him not lose with over 30 points. J.J. Nelson, 23, and a very big performance. And Hunter Henry came up the schneid of last week with 15 solid points. Unfortunately, between Golden Tate, Joe Mixon, Austin Hooper, Cooper Kupp, those guys combined put up under 20 points. That's not how you beat a champion, Jared. So I'm going to take home the victory here. I move up to 4th place, 1-1 overall. Jared drops to 6 at 1-1. Big thing for me, of course, is that's a division battle. I'm happy that I won in the division. Jared now 1-1 and lost 1 versus the division. So that's what dropped him down there. And finally, our last game, the squeaker of the week, Hollywood Knights over the Caribbean Heat. No, this is one I missed, Brandon, because you're right, I did pick against you. Outside of Kareem Hunt and Ben Roethlisberger, Aaron's team really struggled this week. I'm not really sure what Aaron's going to do. I know Aaron loves to win. I know Aaron's competitive, but he does not have a team that can hang at this point. When you're starting, Eric Decker every week, Robbie Anderson every week, Charles Clay every week, Thomas Rawls every week, I mean, you're not going to have a contender. So if I'm Aaron, I'm considering selling sooner rather than later, but who knows? I'm just a former champion that didn't use someone else's team. For Brandon, even though he has now scored the lowest point total of the undefeated teams, and actually I think it's the 8th or 9th lowest total so far in the league, he is 2-0, 3rd place overall. So nice work for Aaron. He can thank his Atlanta connection once again for putting up over 32 points. Des Bryant, nice game, nearly 19. Zach Ertz, nearly 15 points. Mike Wallace stunk. He has Buck Allen on his bench. Maybe that's something he's considering for next week. Buck Allen going crazy. Jermaine Kearse has been going crazy as well. So could have even been a bigger win than what it was, but as it stands, Brandon gets by. It's now 2-0. So we are division leaders right now: Chicago Bombers, Midland Mastodons, Grand Rapids Brewers, and Hollywood Knights, with their 2 wildcard teams actually all coming out of the North. Derek Milsom's team and the Calgary Cockfighters. So strongest division ever. That's all I got to say. There is your weekly recap. I will be posting this later after my golf outing when I get home. So in the afternoon. So enjoy your guys' evening. And either myself or Brian will come back around with a week preview the next 24, 48 hours. Peace, guys.